Well, hello everyone. My name is Phil Gentry. I serve as the project manager for the Iowa Land Record System. I've been associated with the project for a number of years, more than I care to count, but it's been a great opportunity to work on something that truly is providing benefit really to the entire real estate industry, both in terms of our public access to more than 23 million land records across 99 counties, but also to afford the people of Iowa and the real estate industry in Iowa and even beyond with access to really what I would consider to be a state-of-the-art e-filing process. Um, we are the first state to have a statewide electronic recording system. We started that back in 2006. When we started doing e-filing in Iowa, we were basically represented half of all the recording jurisdictions in the United States who were doing that. And so we've been in the space for a long time. We've learned some good lessons along the way. We've made some improvements. Those have been reflected in changes that we've been making over the last few years. What I'm going to cover today is the new search application. It's actually been in production for several months now, but it may be new to you. And it does represent what I would consider to be a significant enhancement to the search application. If you are in a business or even if you are an individual and you have a need to look up a land record or a group of land records and do it online rather than going down to the courthouse, this is a great opportunity for you to gain some time in your schedule. You might not need to visit the courthouse quite as often as maybe you want to, but in terms of saving time, the value proposition is just amazing in terms of how fast you can do your business. What I am displaying initially is the point of view from a submitter. Now, I understand that not everybody here participating today may be engaged in the submission process, but I do want to show this to you so that you can see what the e-submission application looks like. And then if you are an administrator, this is going to be your front door if you're a submission organization to access the search application. If you are not a submitter, if you have signed up just to be a searcher or a search organization, when you log in, you are going to be taken directly to the search application, and you would not have access to the submission service. But I'm going to basically be showing you both sides of it here. And so even if you are only a searcher, this is going to be of interest to you. So one of the major changes in the search application and in Iowa Land Records overall is that we have moved to a central authentication system. That means that we have a registry of authorized users. It is not a self-registration system as it used to be. And going forward, basically everybody who accesses any part of Iowa Land Records is going to have an authenticated identity, and they'll have to use our central authentication system to log in to access the services. If you are an e-submitter, you may be familiar with tools in e-submission that allow you to search for records that you have submitted to Iowa counties. And you would access that by clicking on this e-search button here. And what I have displayed is the search option available to you to look for records that you may have submitted or that may have been recently recorded through our electronic submission service. Before I get to the search application itself, I want to talk a little bit about administration. So I'm going to start as if you're a submission organization, and you are a designated administrator for your organization. And a person joins your organization or joins your employment, and you have decided that you want to give them access to the system, either the search application or the submission application. And you would do that by going to this admin menu, and you would choose users. And you can see that there's a table of users. Now, what I'm showing you today is a live e-submission account that I have set up for my organization. I don't do a lot of submission myself, but basically I have a user account. And if I were to want to add a user to the system, I would simply click on this add button, and then it would ask me to assign a username to the user. So it's up to you what username you assign to the employees or colleagues that you have. Then you would choose what their role is going to be. So if they're going to be authorized to be a submitter, they have three options. They can be another administrator. You could just set someone up so they can only submit, or you could set someone up to participate in the accounting function so that they could access your payment account. If you were going to set up just a search user, that is, they aren't going to be an e-submitter, then you would choose the search user option. And we're going to do that. And then the next thing you would do is check this box that says enable search, and then you would enter the contact information for the user. I guess I'm going to emphasize a little bit that as an authorized organization, it's your responsibility to manage your own users. Once you have an administrator set up, you don't need our assistance to set those accounts up. You can do that yourself. But you do have a responsibility to make sure that the information is correct. So if you're setting up a user account here, in either circumstance, don't use a fictitious name. That is I'm going to just say contrary to the terms of use. And there is a chance that it will be found, and that may affect your organization's access to the system. So as an administrator and as a trusted organization who we enable to participate in the system, and we're sort of doing shouts on her to say, hey, you're going to be responsible to make sure that all of the user information about users working in your service to access the Alvin Land Record System, they're true and authentic. They're real people, not fictitious. And then just to continue on, since I have basically, I'm going to type in some gibberish here, but let's say that this is the username. I've chosen the user role of search user, and I can enter their name, their first and last name, an authentic email address, and their actual telephone number, or if you prefer, the telephone number for your company. If you're an e-submission organization, there are some preferences that you can choose. One of them is an e-submission attribute, which I'm not going to go into, but it's a useful tool if you are a submitter. Then it is the administrator's responsibility to assign the initial password to the user. Now, when they log in, they will be required to set up a new user password, but you're the one, as the administrator, who sets up the initial password. The rules for passwords are listed at the bottom of the screen. So it tells you how many letters there have to be or how many characters. It tells you what special characters are allowed. It tells you that it has to have at least one uppercase and one lowercase letter, and it also must include a number. So without taking time to actually set up a user, I guess I'm hoping that this is fairly straightforward to you, and that you would be able to complete this. If you needed assistance, of course, contact our office at support@clris.com, and we'll be glad to assist you. So I'm going to go back to the view of the submission application, and now I want to show you the front door to the search application. And that front door, you can click on the link that says ILR search, and that is an indicator that you're in the search application. And if you are a submitter, you can toggle back and forth between search and e-submission very easily. You can see these two links at the top of the screen. If I want to go back to submission, I can easily do that. If I want to go back to search, I can just click on the ILR search link. And if you are an organization that is only set up to search, you would manage your users by using this users button. And basically, it takes you to the same place that you were before. That is to manage your users. And we're here to demonstrate the search application. So that's where I'm going to stay for the remainder of the presentation. So what is the search application all about, and how can you search? Just a 30-second sidebar on how we got from where we were to where we are. In the legacy search application, the form for entering criteria to conduct a search was a lot more complicated. The very first thing you had to do when starting a search is choose a county or counties that you want to search in, and you don't have to do that anymore. And we held a series of focus groups and did some surveys, and we did a lot of outreach to our users. And a couple of things that came through. One is that most users wanted us to simplify the searches so that they are easier to use and less complicated. And the other thing that they said is, oh, and by the way, while you're doing that, we still want you to keep an advanced search so that we have something that's more complicated or complex. We still want to be able to do that when needed. And so that's exactly what we did. You'll see in the upper left navigation area that there are different types of searches specified. There's a name search, a reference search, a location search, a document type search, and a county search. And then there is an advanced search option. For the purposes of the demo today, I'm going to start with a county search. Probably the simplest search of them all. I can imagine if you are a banker or work for a mortgage company, one of the things that you watch for in a county recorder's office is the filing of certain documents. Sometimes you don't know when that will happen. Sometimes you don't know exactly when it will be recorded, and there's not a specific notification system that will, tell you when something has been recorded. The way it's set up right now is you actually do have to check. So the way to do that, if we're looking at a specific county, is just to choose that county and then choose a date range. So I can imagine a workflow where a person comes into their office on Monday morning and they want to just check the status of documents that they're interested in. It's in a particular county, and they say, I just want to see everything that has been recorded in that county last week. I'm there on Monday. I just want to see what happened last week. And so you can choose from different types of date ranges. So current day, yesterday, current week, last week, current month, last month, and then you can also enter a custom date range. Keep things simple. We're just going to say last week. I'm searching in Adair County, and I can just run that search, and everything that was recorded in Adair County in that prior week is going to be presented to you for reference. And before I get into the other search types, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to describe to you what you're seeing. So the first thing I'll point out is that regardless of what type of search you're doing, you're going to see these green buttons with white lettering at the top that tell you what criteria you used. It's a reminder that I searched in Adair County. I am searching for records that were recorded in the previous period. And now you know what you did. And so if you scroll through all of the documents, you're going to see what those results are. If you want to change the search, and remember, we're just searching using the county search criteria. If you want to change the county, you can easily do that. If you want to change the date range, you can do that as well and initiate that search. And that's all there is to it. What is displayed then, if you're a user of the old legacy system, you knew that we have sort of a table that shows a row after row after row of whatever the search results are. One of the things that we learned in the focus groups and in our research is that users generally wanted to see more information right after the search is run. They didn't necessarily want to just see a few bits of data and then have to drill down into the details. They wanted to see more information. So we have information displayed that shows you what the document type is. You can see that in the upper left-hand corner of the search result. Obviously, a reminder of what county you were searching in. The booking page or the reference number assigned to a document by the county, and then who the parties are. Now, these grantors or grantees, I don't want to mislead you. These are not in a specific order. The idea is to show all of the parties so you can see that right out of the gate. In the legacy system, your settings might have shown you only one result from the search, and you might not have been able to see who all the parties were. In the new system, you get to see all the parties right out of the beginning of the search results. The recording date and time is specified here. If there is an instrument date in the recorder's index, then that can be displayed here as well. And then one thing we've definitely heard a lot about was the idea of showing the sort of the text location, sometimes referred to as the legal description, right out of the gate. And so rather than having to drill down into the details of a document, in order to see that that result, you would be able to see it right away. So within the search results, you can drill down into the details. So I'm going to scroll down to this third document here, and you'll notice that here there are 4 icons that are listed. There is a kind of a page icon. There is a PDF icon. There's a triangle with an exclamation point, and then there are 2 pages stacked on top of each other. And there are some basically tooltip hints to tell you what it is. So if I'm looking at this UCC document that was filed in Adair County, and I want to see more details about it, well, then I can click on that icon and I'll see more of the information, particularly the location information. You'll see that there are a number of parcels referenced here, and to the extent that the county has passed those details on to us, then you're going to be able to see that. If you want to view the document image, you can just click on the PDF icon and it will open up in a new tab, and then you're going to be able to examine that specific document. Notice that the search is still available to you, but you're opening a new tab to view the document image. And this is in your native PDF viewer in whatever browser you're using. You don't have to have a special viewer to be able to access. And you can download the document directly. So when you open the browser, in this case, I'm in Google Chrome. I have an icon here that I can just click on and download it to my local desktop or laptop. You can also print the file to your printer locally. Pretty much anything you want to do with that image, you can do. When you're doing that, one of the things that happens is, and I'm going to rerun the search um, just to just to demonstrate this. So I'm going to refine the search, not going to change anything. I may need to refresh my screen, but you can see that we are programmatically counting how many image views you can have. And we do have a limit of 120 image views per day. And so this is the way we keep track of that. So we're not going to call you when you hit the limit. You're just done viewing images for that day. And when the stroke of midnight occurs, or somewhere in there, the clock starts again and you can view more images. The next icon I want to share with you is this triangle icon. And this is something we started in Legacy, but we've actually expanded the use of this. So originally, this idea was to report any personally identifiable information, otherwise known as PII, sometimes referred to as a social security number or account number. And if anybody sees that kind of personal information on a document, we want you to notify us, because it should have been redacted from public view before it was posted on the website. And if you click on that icon, it will bring up basically a dialog box, is what they sometimes are called. And you'll have an opportunity to choose from a menu of reasons why you are doing that. Common things that are PII are SSNs, or Social Security numbers. Another common one would be an actual bank account or a credit card number. And then there could be any number of other reasons or issues relating to PII, and we want you to report those to us. But not only that, we want our users to kind of give us feedback to say what's working, what's not. So let's say that you're trying to run a location search and there's an error, or if you're trying to run a party name search, or you're trying to find an associated reference and you're having difficulty, or you're having any other type of trouble using the search, we want you to select one of these options and then enter a comment and tell us what's going on. Sometimes there is an issue, not just with the indexing information, but it might be with an image. So we have worked very hard to improve image quality in our land record system. But we're not going to say it's perfect. If you think that there is an image that is particularly poor, we want you to report that to us. If there is an error with the document, then we want you to report that as well. An example of that would be you're looking through a document and it's obvious that there's a blank page or maybe a page missing. That's something that is wrong with the document image. And we want you to tell us about it. So specify a reason why you are reporting an issue, notify us, and then we will follow it up and work on getting it fixed. Okay, then the last icon I want to share with you is the associated documents available. If you see this icon, and it doesn't appear for every document, but if you see this icon, it tells you that, hey, there are associated references here. So this is a UCC document. I'm going to click on that, and now I can see that there are other documents that have an association with this UCC document. It looks like there was a prior UCC document filed in 2008. There are a number of surveys and plats associated with this document as well. And if you want to go directly to those documents and view the details or view the image, you can do that. In the legacy system, you would have had to basically remember what document was associated and then go up back and run a fresh search. I would say this is one of the biggest enhancements to the use of the system, to be able to get right to an associated reference if you see it. So those are the main things you're going to see. If you're looking at the document details, you're going to see that the grantors and grantees, now they're lined up in a nice column, and you can see whether a particular party is a grantor or a grantee, if that is important to you. And of course, if you just want to download the PDF to your system, you can do that. That here as well. So those are the main elements of what the search results display. And this display is pretty much the same regardless of whether you use a name search, a reference search, or any other type of search. This is what you get as the search results. So let's go back. And one other thing I want to share with you, and then we'll move on to other document searches, is there is a save search feature. So I ran a search of Adair County last week, and if I wanted to, I could save it by giving it a name. So I'm going to create a save search by pressing this button, and I'm going to call this Adair last week. And we're going to save. All right, I missed a K there. Sorry about that. So you notice that in the left-hand side of the screen, now there are two save search listed here. And if you ever want to run this search, you just have to click on it. So just by clicking on it, I'm going to do the other save search. It's Adair last month. I'm going to click on that. And now you can see this particular search, I'm searching for satisfaction of mortgage documents in Adair County, and I'm looking in the date range of last month. I did not have to go back into the search application and re-enter all my criteria. I saved that as a saved search, and I didn't have to press a run search button. I just clicked on the save search name and it ran the search for me. You can save up to 9 sets of criteria for saved searches. They don't all appear in this left navigation area, but if you click on this link that says see all, it will open up a page and show a sort of a boxed area of the searches that you've saved. And anytime you want to delete one of the saved searches, you can do that. If you want to add a new one, you can do that. It's very, very easy to use. Okay, I'm going to pause right here to see if anyone has any specific questions about the basic navigation of the search application, how the search results are displayed, or how to drill out down into the details or view associated documents. Does anybody have a question before I move on? And please enter it in the chat pod. The question is 120 images per day per company or per person. It is per user. Okay, so if you have 10 users and they sit and do research all day, basically you can have your team look up and view images of up to 1,200 in that particular day. I would just say the reason we have a limit on the number of searches is that we did not build the site. We weren't asked to build the site so that users could download the whole database. It's built with the assumption that we're working with real estate professionals of all roles, and they have a need to look up documents, and they prefer to do it online instead of going down to the courthouse. There is really no limit on how many searches you perform, and the only limit is on how many images are viewed. And if you think about kind of the typical workday, if somebody was really doing research and and looking up documents, it does take a little bit of time to do the research for even a single document. And if you figure out, well, how much on average, how much time does it take an average person to do that research for a document? It takes 15 minutes maybe. And so if you look at a business day, from our point of view anyway, 120 image views is not unreasonable, especially when the searching itself is unlimited. So that's sort of the rationale why we do that. But to answer your question again, 120 images per day per person, that is per user in an organization. Good question. Any other questions? Okay, well, we'll move on then. So let's go back up to and do the name search next. So when you're searching for a person's name, that can cover a lot of territory, and particularly if you have a common surname. You can choose to search by an individual person's name, or you could search by a company or organization name. It's up to you to decide what name you're going to search on. For my demo today, I'm just going to do a simple name search. There are things that you can choose to look at. One is you can enter just a last name. You can specify one county, or actually you can specify up to 5 counties, I believe. And then you can specify a date range, although a date range is not required. So I have found that using myself as a guinea pig is a good way to demonstrate this. So most of my personal records are filed in Polk County. So I'm going to enter Polk County as my county of choice, and I'm going to enter my last name. And believe it or not, not going to specify a date range. I'm basically telling the system I want to see everything with my last name in Polk County across all time. Okay, let's see what happens. So what I get is 55 results. Now, is it exactly what I'm looking for? No, because I get Barry Dempsey here. I get Sarah Dempsey here. Um, there are other Dempseys that are here that are listed, and it may or may not be relevant to me. To make it easier to navigate, maybe I'll say I want to see 50 results here and be able to scroll through the whole list. Okay, and I'm going to find other parties and other names associated with this, but I know now that, it really is not what I'm looking for. So I need to refine my search a little bit, and I'm going to put in my first name. And so I put in PHIL, and I'm going to run that search. And this particular search result shows all of the records, there are 14 of them, where my name is spelled just with my nickname of Phil. My full name is not listed here. So if I want to refine this a little bit further, I'm going to go back to the refine search, and I'm going to choose Philip with one L. So we're going to try that, see what we get. And now I've got 14 results, but that you can see in the name, the Grantor grantee list, that all of these results show my full name. In this particular case, a warranty deed, the recorder indexed my name in multiple ways. They chose Phil, and they also indexed it by Philip, and they happened to use my middle initial. That does not mean we found everything. So we're going to go back and refine this again. This time I'm going to enter my name with 2 L's, because some people do mistakenly do that. And you can see that there are 3 results that have my first name with 2 L's, which is incorrect, by the way, but that's the way they did it. So So as I think about running a name search, I have high confidence that I have the complete spelling of my surname, that there's nothing that comes after the last C, but I have knowledge that, there could be variations on that name. So particularly if you don't know the person individually, if you don't know them, what should you do to help ensure that you find everything? And the way you do that is you use a wildcard character. So in our land records, the wildcard character is an asterisk. And basically what we're telling the system is, I want to see every density in Polk County that has a first name beginning with PHIL. Okay. So it doesn't matter what comes after it. I just want to see anything that starts with PHIL. And in this way, I can have surety that I'm pretty sure there's no variation of Phil or Philip that uh, has a starting character string other than PHIL. I want to see everything that has that to start with, and I'm going to use a wildcard character. And in this case, now I have seen 29 results, and some of them have the party name is Philip. Some of them have it as Phil, and those 3 documents that have my name with 2 L's are also in here as well. Now, as I do a name search, I can have confidence that, I'm finding everything that I'm looking for. You can also use a wildcard search, wildcard character on a last name. So if I only knew that my name started with DUNSH, followed by an unknown combination of letters, which could be, if you look at my heritage, it could have ended EA or EE, either one, and I could run that search. And just remember, I've done the search for Polk County, and I've done it across all the time because I wanted to see everything. And I've lived in the Des Moines, Polk County area since 1980, so I've had a few transactions here. Same thing applies to a name search. You can use a wildcard with a name. And one of the things that I do run into is that there are variances in spelling of businesses' names. There are variances in how a particular county office may spell a company name. So in this example here, Wells Fargo, pretty common, but it may actually end in a different combination. Can we all remember that typically in Polk County, they indexed it as Wells Fargo Bank N.A. That's where the wild card comes into play. It helps you address those issues that you might run into when you're wondering, gee, I know that document is there. Why am I not finding it? And oftentimes it's a spelling issue. Reference searches. I'm going to move on here because we're getting close to the last part of our hour. Reference searches are things where you're pretty comfortable knowing what the book and page or the document reference number is. In this particular example, I'm going to choose Dallas County, and I'm choosing that for a reason. And maybe I want to choose a date range. So I'm going to enter a custom date range, or I could, but actually I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just enter a book number. So some counties start their books with the year that they're in, and I'm going to enter 2022. And I'm not going to enter a date range, and I'm just going to search. And you can see that every document starts with a book number beginning 2022. Now, you could have just done a county search with a date range of all of 2022, and you should get the same results. But in this case, I just wanted to point out that you could find a particular record that has a particular book number. Um, I haven't done this one, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. We're going to refine the search, and I'm going to type in a page number, and we're going to delete the 2022, and we're going to run that. And now we can see that there is a reference number in Dallas County for that ends in 15918, and it's there for 23, 22, 21. And so if you have a snippet of information, you can use that combination to find the record you're looking for. Generally speaking, the people who have most success with reference number search, whether it's book and page or a reference number generally, is they have some familiarity with how a particular county assigns index numbers to their documents. And as a general practice, if you're searching in a new county, the best advice I can give you is just to run a very simple county search with a simple date range and just look and see how the county does it. Then you'll get a clue about what you're looking for. Location search. Location, and this is true even in our legacy system, it basically boils down to searching by platted or unplatted land. If you're searching platted land, you may choose a particular county. Let's choose a rural county here. And let's keep it simple. Let's just say I want to see records that are in Ottoman. I may not know date specific block or subdivision name, but let's take a look if anything's been filed there. So in that particular county for that small date range, there wasn't anything filed, but you could find it that way. Alternatively, you could go back and choose to search unplatted land, and we're going to take out, we're not going to use any other criteria. Let's keep Ottoman County as our example. And let's just say we want to see everything in section 1. And so it's looking exactly for section 1. And let's try it last month just to see what comes up. And so you can see in the platted land area that section 1 is prominent here, and it's looking for any match for section 1. If you want to be more specific than that, I can see here that there's section 14, and will come up in the results. Let's change this to a 14 and run that search. And now you can see it's basically displaying the 14s that show up at the top of the search results. So this is a way that you can, if you know the location information, if you're a surveyor, for example, you can search by quarter section. You can search by section, township, and range, and if it's platted land, then you can use town name, subdivision name, and so on. Okay, and then basically the last simple type of search is a document type search. And again, I would use the example where maybe you're in the business and you're waiting for a particular mortgage in a particular county to be released. You might choose that county and say, I want to see everything that was filed that is a satisfaction of mortgage last month, and we're going to randomly choose Appaloosa County. And so I get 27 results, and that tells me, okay, these are the satisfactions that have been filed. And without too much difficulty, I could change my criteria here and say I want to see all 50 or all 27 in this case. And you can just scroll through them and find what you're looking for. So the advanced search, which I'll just spend a minute on, it's a little bit trickier because you're looking for a specific combination of data points. Looking for a a specific book number is a pretty narrow search criteria. If you know what county you're searching in, you're probably going to be better off just doing a simple reference search. If you are looking by location information, then that might be something that you go back to that simple search. But if you are looking for a combination of a name, and then maybe you know that the property is located in section 7, you could combine a last name, first name, and then enter a section, township, and range, and say, show me everything that matches that in a particular county, and that might help you find what you're looking for. So the advanced search is really there. It's not always going to be the perfect solution, but if you're looking and you have just a few bits of information and in combination together that could help you find what you're looking for, that would be an approach that you could take. I'll go back to what I said earlier. Common thing, I've trained people on doing searches. One thing about the Iowa land record system is we've done a great job of consolidating records from 99 counties into a single database. That doesn't mean every county has done the same or that we've normalized all the data. It still may take a little bit of thinking on your part or whoever's working for you to say, what do I need to know that is going to help me have a successful search? And really, the most frequent and best advice I give to folks is go run a simple search in that county. Maybe you think the record is from 20 years ago. Go just look at how they indexed records in that county 20 years ago. And then you can gain some insight into how they have organized their data, and you can end up having a successful search. So I've got 2:47. I do want to take time to answer any questions that you may have, but this is the new search application. We're very excited to share it with you. This is not the end. This is a journey. And so it was important for us to create a new search on a modern, more secure platform. We've done that now. Now we're looking at how can we make this better? What are some changes that we can make? And so we're having conversations with our users. Whether you're a surveyor, a banker, a real estate attorney, a paralegal, whatever your role is, we're interested in your points of view about how we should help you. I'm sorry, I may have missed a question, so forgive me, but there apparently was a question about search tips. So in the legacy application, there is an area in the search application itself called search tips, and you can click on that and then find out when that county last uploaded their records, and then there'll be some static information about how far back their records are going to go. In some counties, it will give you tips and hints about how to do a name search, how to do a location search, because of the particular way that that county has indexed their information. That is changing. So what you are going to see, and you don't see it now because we haven't turned off the legacy application yet, is you are going to be seeing search tips move over into our WordPress site. And you're going to be able to go into the area where the county directories are displayed to get the contact information for each recorder and how to contact them, telephone and so on, office hours. And in that same general area, we're going to be recreating search tips, but we're going to be doing some things that are intended to make some of the information there more normalized, more consistent, and we hope it will be a big improvement. Do not expect to see that right away, but we are going to leave the legacy search application open for a little while before the end of the year. And if you really need that, you can look there for now. Then the component of it that displays the most recent transfer of records, that is, what is the date of the most recent files that have been transferred by the county to our land records, and that is programmatically generated. And so we do have a development ticket created to make that appear in some type of a dashboard in the search application. It has not been built yet, but it is on the development agenda. So search tips is changing. Some of it is going to be in conjunction with the county directories because it's fairly static information and it's easier for us to maintain in the WordPress part of our site rather than in the search application itself. We know that people are interested in when was the most recent record upload, and we're going to be working to incorporate that in the application. Okay, can you demonstrate how to search 3 or 4 counties at once? And the answer to that is yes. So let's go back and use me as the guinea pig. I think I've got this right. So I'm going to choose Polk again, but I'm also going to choose Des Moines County because that's where I'm originally from. And I don't think I ever owned property down there, but my dad did. And again, we're going to use a open-ended date range. And this time I'm not going to enter a first name. I just want to see everything with that surname. And we'll run that search. And now in this case, I've got 69 results. And I can see that the most recent ones are displayed. If I were to go to the end of the list, and let's say that I want to um, sort by ascending, I can change that and apply it. Now I see the oldest records first, and you can see my dad's name is listed here. And so the record was it was a warranty deed filed in 1968 in Des Moines County. So the method for doing a multi-county search is to just do a name search, and then, or this also applies to the advanced search, and enter up to 5 counties just by typing their name in. So if I want to add Dallas County, I can do that. If I wanted to add Warren County, I can do that. If I want to add in Madison County, I can do that. Now I've got 5. And what happens if I enter a 6th one? Let's just go ahead and pick Louisa County. And it's not letting me add that 5th one or 6th one. So that's the way the multi-county search works. And again, one of the open-ended features of the search is that you can, but you don't necessarily have to use a date range. But that's how you do a multi-county search. As I said earlier, the Our Land Record site wasn't really built to allow people to download large quantities of records. That's not what it was created for. And there aren't that many use cases where you really need to do a statewide search. I know that I've heard from some users that they cast a wide net just because they wanted to see what was found. I'm not going to say that this is a done deal forever, will never be changed, but the prevailing view in terms of design was that most people really don't need to do a statewide search. 5 seemed to be a reasonable number. And then in other cases, like a reference search or a location search, those are so location specific that it doesn't really even apply to try for a location or a multi-county search. Name searches, that makes some sense. I had a reason to look at Des Moines and Polk County because that's where my ancestors are, right? And my descendants. That makes sense. So we went with 5. There's nothing magic about that. And like everything, we'll continue to evaluate it and see where the conversation leads. Great question. Are there other questions before we close today? I want to make sure I have demonstrated to you what you need and also answered any questions that you have. So jump into the chat. I just want to review one last thing, and that is if you're an administrator, you have the ability to manage your own users. You don't need to contact us. You just go ahead and create those users yourself. You can do it very simply by clicking on the add button. If you need to delete a user, you have the ability to do that. If you need to edit users' information, you can edit it by clicking the pencil icon. And if you need to reset a user's password because they forgot it, you have the ability to do all those things as an administrator. And one thing that I would recommend is that in an organization that's setting up a search account, you should think about how you want to organize yourself. Does part of your organization do submission and then part of your organization do searching, or does everybody do both? Or basically you're not in the document preparation business, you're just in the research business. Maybe all you need is a search application access. So think about that. Also think about your organization. We have situations where, for example, a financial institution, they may have bank office or branch offices over multiple communities. Those organizations have the option to either set up one master account for all of their branches, or they can allow their individual branches to set up their own account. So we are here to serve the real estate industry, the people of Iowa, the citizens of Iowa. We have created a separate search, very much identical to this, only it's really oriented toward individuals who are looking at their own property. A slightly different set of rules, but essentially the functionality is the same. So depending on your situation, if you're with an organization that's in the business of real estate generally, legal, financial, surveying, whatever it may be, underwriting, title companies, the organization search is where you want to be. If you're a genealogist and you're looking up your family records, probably that individual citizen application is where you belong. So, other questions? The question was, is there a limit on the number of users on an account? And the answer is no, there is not. Except, as I said earlier, don't set up fake accounts. Don't set up fictitious accounts. Everybody you set up to be a user within your organization really needs to be a real person, first of all, and they also have a legitimate reason for using the resource. We, don't want to have people abuse the system. We want it to be available to everybody. And if we follow a few simple rules, we can make sure that that happens. Any other questions? Well, I think I've used up my hour. I want to just say thank you to everybody who attended today. I hope this has been useful and informative. And we wish you happy searching. Don't forget to communicate with us that we have a support email address is support@chloris.com. Please take advantage of that. The application form is online. Just flipped over to the Q&A area and notice that somebody's had submitted a question. Is this ready to start using now? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. We are live. We have been live for a few months. What we've generally describe what we're doing as sort of a soft rollout. We want to give people time to transition from the old system to the new. But as we get closer to that period between Thanksgiving and Christmas, that holiday season, we're going to be turning off the legacy search application just because we can't afford to maintain multiple systems. We've got a new system. We're going to put our energy into that going forward. Okay, thank you everybody for being here today. We greatly appreciate it. We wish you a happy Halloween, and boy, the holidays are right around the corner. So be safe and have a great season, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.